I'm Roman Yossi of the Nashville Predators.
I'm Dante Fabro of the Nashville Predators.
This is Philip Forsberg of the Nashville Predators.
I'm Colton Sissons of the Nashville Predators.
I'm Eustace Aros of the Nashville Predators.
You're listening to the Renegades of Puck
with Crazy Charlie.
Welcome to the bunker. Welcome to the Renegades of Puck podcast. I'm your host and captain, Crazy Charlie Saunier. And before we get started on all the no-half-step and hockey coverage, first, let me direct you to our home website, renegadesofpuck.com. Once you go to renegadesofpuck.com, you'll learn everything you need to know about the show. Once you're good and educated about the show, well, that's where you can click on that merchandise tab. That's going to take you straight to our classic logo t-shirt, our Pride logo t-shirt, all of our different special event t-shirts, and so much more. Something like 87 gimmicks in our online store, all the things you've come to know and love and expect from the Renegades of Puck, like socks, throw, pillows, wall art, bed sets. You can outfit your entire home or your entire person with Renegades of Puck merchandise, and it's never too early to start thinking about those Christmas gifts for the Renegades in your life. That's Renegades of Puck merchandise at renegadesofpuck.com. We've sold out so that you can buy in. Social media is of critical importance to this hockey operation, so listen up. Here's how you can help us out and support the cause. You can find us on X, Threads, TikTok, Twitter, Instagram. Those are two of the same things in there. Also on Facebook. So check us out on all the different social media platforms. Just search Renegades of Puck in your preferred platform today and follow along with the team. You can also find us on YouTube. That's where you can find all of our video recaps, breakdowns, previews, full episodes of Renegades of Puck TV, and so much more on our YouTube channel. Just look up Renegades of Puck, give us a subscription, and turn on those notifications today. Stick taps, love, and respect to all of our recent subscribers. That sure means a lot to us. You can also find us in audio form on numerous podcast platforms, thanks to the Full Press NHL Network and Full Press coverage. You can find the Full Press Predators podcast on Google, Stitcher, Spotify, Amazon, and several other different platforms. Just search Renegades of Puck in your preferred platform today. And again, thank you so much to everybody for helping make 2023 a record-breaking year here for the show. Venmo is how you can support your Renegades financially. You can make a donation directly to the bunker by scanning the QR code that is currently on your screen, or you can just search Renegades of Puck in Venmo. Every dollar goes a long way to helping this hockey operation right here known as the Renegades of Puck. We made significant upgrades behind the scenes, and you've seen the upgrades we've made on camera over the last year plus. So again, thank you so much. Stick taps, love, and respect to everybody willing to jump in the trenches and donate to the Renegades of Puck. Scan that QR code, search Renegades of Puck on Venmo today. Now listen, I know it's time for the No Half Step in Hockey coverage, so let me deliver the goods. It's time for operation number 817. That's right, time for show number 817. And at this moment in hockey history, the Nashville Predators currently find themselves in 7th place in the Central Division after 12 games skated on the season. They have a record of 5-7, and they have 10 points. Those 10 points have them 6 points behind the first place Colorado Avalanche, and they are 4 points behind their next opponent, which is in the Central Division, the Winnipeg Jets. Haven't had a chance to talk about the Central Division a whole lot so far this season. The Nashville Predators have mostly played Eastern Conference opponents and Pacific Division opponents, but that is all about to change dramatically and quickly. So let's start at the top of the Central Division, make our way through the updated standings, and then we'll start talking all things Nashville Predators and Winnipeg Jets. The Avalanche, as I mentioned, are currently in first place with 16 points. They have an overall record of 8-3. The Dallas Stars have fallen to second place, 7-3-1 on the season, 15 points, 1 point behind first place, 1 point ahead of third place Winnipeg, who has a record of 6-4-2. And then we'll find the Arizona Coyotes at 13 points, the Minnesota Wild at 12 points, the St. Louis Blues at 11 points. The Nashville Predators have 10, sitting in 7th, and the Chicago Blackhawks in the basement of the Central in 8th place have 8 points, but that is only 2 points behind the Nashville Predators. So first to last in the Central is separated by a total of 8 points. Now, for the Nashville Predators, once they wrap up this game against the Winnipeg Jets in Winnipeg, it will be the end of the CMA road trip. 2 long weeks out there on the road for the Preds, and then they will be heading on home for a nice long homestand. They will be facing off a Saturday against the Arizona Coyotes, Tuesday against the Anaheim Ducks, and then a break all the way to Saturday when they'll take on the Chicago Blackhawks. And then on the 20th of November, the Colorado Avalanche come to Bridgestone Arena, and the 22nd of November is when the Calgary Flames will be in Nashville for a rematch of last night's game, the game that we are about to recap. Now, it's the first of 4 season meetings between the Nashville Predators and the Winnipeg Jets. The next one will take place on the 26th of November. It's when the Winnipeg Jets come to Nashville Nashville for the first time to play at Bridgestone Arena. The two teams will not meet again until March the 13th, when Nashville will make its second and final trip of the regular season into Winnipeg. And then on April the 9th, Winnipeg will come to Nashville for the second time on the season. That'll wrap up the 4-game season series between these two Central Division rivals. Now let's get you set up with what's going on with the Winnipeg Jets. The Jets, like the Preds, have skated in 12 games this season, but the Jets find themselves in third place in the Central Division. They have an overall record of 6-4-2, 14 points, as 4 points ahead of the Nashville Preds. On home ice, which is where the Winnipeg Jets will be facing off against the Nashville Preds, they are 2-2-1. The Preds on the road are 2-5-0. In the goals for category, Winnipeg has 41 on the season. The Nashville Predators have 34 in the goals against category. Winnipeg also has 41, and the Nashville Predators have 36. A lot of symmetry coming up in these numbers and in these rankings. I had to double check several of them because, frankly, some of it was so much the same that I started to double check my work and started to overthink it just a little bit. So let's get into the matchup for the Winnipeg Jets. Their most previous 5 games. Let's take a look at the most recent sample size. Go back to October the 28th with a 4-3 shootout loss in Montreal against the Canadiens. On the 20th or the 30th of October, a 3-2 overtime loss versus the New York Rangers at home. Then on the 2nd of November, a 5-2 loss in Vegas, but everybody except Anaheim has lost to Vegas. On the 4th of November, a 5-3 win at Arizona, and most recently on the 7th of November, a 5-2 win in St. Louis against the Blues. It was Hellebuck getting the victory in that game, 20 out of 22. Overall, a very light night of workload when it comes to Connor Hellebuck. For the Nashville Predators, a couple of injuries are still affecting day-to-day play for this team. Schenn has not been seen since game 1 of the season, still on injured reserve. Glass hasn't been around since almost that time, still on injured reserve as well. Ryan McDonough still listed as day-to-day, but word from the broadcast last night was that he is getting close to returning, and they just wanted to keep him out of the lineup to get a little bit healthier. Now, that gets you set as far as where we are in the standings. Let's talk about the rankings and the matchups and the numbers between these two Central Division rivals. In the goals for category, Winnipeg far ahead. 3.42 per game is a very good number. 10th overall in the NHL. 41 goals for is the total. The Preds only 2.83 per game are 21st overall in the NHL. The Preds 7 goals behind, the same number of games played at 34. In the goals against category, though, Winnipeg is giving up more than Nashville. The Preds sit at 3 goals against per game. That's 15th in the league, right in the middle of the pack. 3.33 goals against per game is the number for the Winnipeg Jets. That puts them at 20th in the league. When it comes to the shots on goal category, the Nashville Predators dipping back in this category over the course of this road trip, now down to 30.3 per game. That is 20th in the NHL. The shots for category, shots on net for the Winnipeg Jets, 32.8 per game, is 10th best in the league at this moment in time. In the shots against category, Winnipeg doing a great job of limiting shots against, only 27.9. I just mentioned Hellebuck only faced 22 shots in their most recent game at St. Louis, and they're only giving up 27.9 against per game. That's 6th best overall in the entirety of the NHL. The Nashville Predators are giving up 30.3 per game, and they are giving up exactly the same amount as they are getting on goal. It's 30.3, but this ranking is 13th in the NHL. When it comes to special teams, the Preds do have the advantage on the power play. 12th best, 22.5% conversion rate, 11 out of 49 opportunities. When it comes to the Winnipeg Jets power play, they are rated 20th in the NHL, 17.8%. 8 out of 45 is the raw data on that power play. When it comes to the penalty kill unit, the Nashville Predators and the Winnipeg Jets, neither one of these teams are very happy or proud or excited about where they find themselves in the league rankings at this time. The Winnipeg Jets are better by 1 spot than the Nashville Predators. A 70% kill rate is 29th in the NHL, and the Jets have given up 12 power play goals against. Now, the Nashville Predators, 69.2% kill rate is 30th in the NHL. 17 or 12 power play goals against as well for the Nashville Predators. It was a tough start to the season, but still sitting at 30th. It improved for a couple of games, but they are dipping back down. That's why we go through this each and every game, so you can follow along with how the team is trending in each and every one of these particular categories. Every team in the NHL has high-powered individual and super incredibly skilled players, and these two teams have absolutely no doubt about that. Let's start with the top 5 in the statistics on the offensive side of things for the Winnipeg Jets. And the names on this list are players that have had incredibly good success against this Nashville Predators team. That's why sometimes this matchup doesn't work out very well for the Nashville Predators. Connor, 8 goals, leads the Winnipeg Jets at this point in time. 4 assists added. That is 12 points. Connor, a player that usually has good success against the Nashville Predators. Scheifele, 5 goals and 7 assists for 12 points. Tied for the team lead in points. And then you see Iafallo at 4 and 6 for 10. Morrissey, 1 and 9 for 10. Nino Niederreiter, former Nashville Predator, 5 goals, 4 assists on the season for 9 points. And again, each and every one of these players, regardless of where they've played, they seem to have good success against the Nashville Predators. So this top grouping for the Winnipeg Jets in statistics, I think, is going to have a good home game against this Predators team. Flipping over to the Predators side of thing when it comes to the statistics, Philip Forsberg leads the team in scoring with 12 overall points. His breakdown is 2 goals and a team-leading 10 assists. Ryan O'Reilly has 7 goals on the season. That leads the team. You add 4 assists to that. That's 11 points. So Philip Forsberg now still at a point per game on the season. O'Reilly dips just below that. Tommy Novak, 6 goals and 4 assists for 10 points. The captain, Romaniossi's at 2 and 6 for 8. And Luke Evangelista, 1 and 7 for 8 points. And Luke Evangelista doing a very good job. He's right there in the thick of it for the rookie scoring race, something we may start talking about once we get past at least the quarter pole of the season. But Luke Evangelista right now should be in the early season conversation for Calder Trophy. He's doing quite good, and consistency was the key to him coming in here and doing well. And he's doing much better than several other players, young players, veteran players. It doesn't make a difference, but he is performing at a very high level. Luke Evangelista is off to a very, very good start. The goaltending matchup expected for this one, Connor Hellebuyck, 6-3 and 1, 8.92 save percentage, 2.98 goals against average. And I feel like I've said the name Connor Hellebuyck as many times as any other name across the entire landscape of the NHL over the last decade of coverage here on the show. So Connor Hellebuyck for the Winnipeg Jets, as always. UC Saros, 4 and 6 for the Nashville Predators, 9.11 save percentage, 2.73 goals against average. And we'll talk about it as we get into the recap and as we get into the analysis, but a little bit leaky as of late, and it's not much of a surprise. He customarily has a slow start to the season before really picking things up, ramping things up, and usually finding himself in the Vezina conversation towards the end of the season, at least for a Vezina finalist position. So UC Saros right now not putting up the numbers everyone is necessarily expecting, but the Nashville Predators, 12 games into the experiment of having the brand new coach, bringing in a brand new roster, 5 and 7 is not overall a bad record, being only 6 points out of first place, and most importantly, being only 4 points out of what would be an automatic qualifying spot for a playoff team. Yes, I made it 12 games into the season before I brought up the NHL playoffs that are upcoming in like 6 months. Slow down just a little bit on that one. So the Nashville Predators right now, that's got you all set up for their next game, the final game of the CMA road trip, the longest road trip of the year. They have one other long West Coast road trip coming up a little bit later in the season, but they're coming back home, and they will have a long homestand, and we'll see a lot of Central Division hockey coming up over the next couple of games. That's got you set for that game. We got to go back and talk about what happened in Calgary, and I just go ahead and warn you right now, you're not going to be real happy with the way this one turns out. And I've got a lot of things to say about the Calgary Flames game for the Nashville Predators. So let's get to the game recap. Let's get you through what happened in the game, and then let's start breaking it down, talking about statistics analysis, who performed well and who did not perform well. You'll find out coming up next on the Rebirth Sports Full Game Recap right here on the Renegades of Puck podcast.
Hockey players are as unique as the game itself, and your uniform should be tailored to fit you. Rebirth Sports is your sports apparel tailor. From shells, bags, warm-ups, hats, hoodies, branding, and more, let Rebirth Sports be your custom hockey tailor.
And don't forget to tell them they do more than just hockey.
Rebirth Sports on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Rebirth Sport, a match made in hockey.
It's now time for the Rebirth Sports Full Game Recap. We go all the way back to November the 7th of the year, 2023, when the Nashville Predators were continuing on with their CMA road trip in Calgary to take on the Flames for the first meeting of the regular season. Head coach Andrew Burnett deployed his lines in the following ways. Forsberg, O'Reilly, and Nyquist make up your first line. Sherwood, Novak, and Evangelista make up your second line. Trennan, Parsonen, and Sissons, a bit of a change right there. Parsonen at center. Foodie, McCarron, and Smith make up your fourth line. Yossi and Fabro, Luzon and Carrier, Delgado and Barry make up your defensive pairings. McDonough still scratched day to day. UC Saros gets the start in net. We are 1:16 into the first period, and UC Saros coming up with a save on Coleman, the first shot on goal of the game. At 1:42 of the first period, UC Saros comes up with a save on Pospisil. At 3:29, Markstrom comes up with a save on O'Reilly's redirect. First Nashville Predators shot of the game. But the Preds would follow that up with their next shot of the game coming at 4:35 of the first. It would be McCarron, his first goal of the season. A redirect at the top of the crease. Foodie set up the play right there. The Nashville Predators have a 1-0 lead in Calgary over the Flames. So again, McCarron, his first of the season. At 6:37 of the first period, Saros comes with a save on Pospisil again. 7:41 of the first period, Luzon is off the box. 2 minutes for interference. We'll see our first special teams action of the game. And UC Saros coming up with a save on Sharangovich, plus the rebound jam opportunity. Solid PK. Fabro and Sissons get credit for strong shifts out there for the Nashville Predators. At 9:16 of the first period, Markstrom comes up with a save on Cole Smith. At 10:49 of the first, Saros comes up with a save on Uyghur. 11:24. UC Saros comes up with a save on Zari, plus the rebound follow-up from out high. Then a save on Kadri, plus his follow-up. Then another save on Zari. It turns out to be 5 saves in a total of 16 seconds. I thought Lankinen had a busy sequence the other night for the Nashville Predators. This was by far the top goaltending sequence of the season for this Nashville Predators team. 5 saves in 16 seconds of game time. At 12:54 of the first period, Markstrom comes up with a save on Fabro. At 14:34 of the first period, it's Sherwood's third goal of the season. Give and go tap in off of the rush with Luke Evangelista. Tommy Novak did all of the hard work to start and spring the play all the way back from his own defensive zone. And then Evangelista and Sherwood go to work. Sherwood gets the finish with his third of the season, giving the Nashville Predators a 2-0 lead over the Calgary Flames. At 14:47 of the first period, UC Saros comes with a save on Backlund. 15:21, Saros comes with another save on Backlund. At 15:34 of the first period, Hannafin hits the post at close range. 16:49, UC Saros comes with a save on Uyghur. At 18:47 of the first period, Zadorov comes up with a penalty, 2 minutes for elbowing on Luke Evangelista. Stuck out the elbow, taking down Evangelista in his defensive zone. The Flames penalty kill unit would hold. We would hit the end of the first period. The Nashville Predators are being outshot 17-6. But hold a 2-0 lead in this game. The Preds would get a power play carryover into the second period onto the clean sheet of 47 seconds, but would not be able to generate a single shot on goal on the entirety of the power play. Not just in the 47 seconds into the second period, but the entirety of the power play. At 1:08 of the second period, you see Saros comes with a save on Kadri off of the rush. At 1:21, Markstrom comes with a save on Smith off of the rush, trading chances back and forth up and down the ice to start the second period. 4:01 of the second period, Markstrom comes up with a save on Sherwood. At 5:37 of the second period, Saros comes with a save on Lindholm. McCarron helps clear the rebound out of a glorious secondary scoring opportunity. At 6:33 of the second period, Markstrom comes with a save on Luke Evangelista. Tommy Novak setting a good screen. 6:52, Markstrom a save on Yossi. Preds sustained pressure for an entire strip. Their best pressure of the entire game, without a doubt. 7:48 of the second period, UC Saros comes with a save on Anderson. 8:35, another save on Kadri. At 9:30 of the second period, the captain Roman Yossi for the Nashville Predators off the box. 2 minutes for high sticking all the way in his own defensive zone as the Nashville Predators were breaking out. He gets caught with the high stick. 0 shots on goal allowed by the Nashville Predators penalty kill unit. Another outstanding set of shifts by Trennan and Fabro out there on the PK unit for the Nashville Predators. At 12:29 of the second period, Markstrom comes with a save on the captain Roman Yossi and Tommy Novak's follow-up. At 14:21 of the second, Markstrom comes with a save on Nyquist from the half wall. Took a little bit longer than he might have wanted to get the one-timer set up, so it just turns into a regular wrist shot. By the time he gets it off, easily found by Markstrom. At 15:05 of the second period, Dubé comes up with his second goal of the season, getting Calgary on on the board. It was a 5-hole trickler. Look, the shot wasn't a trickler. The shot was a pretty good, solid bomb, but it trickled through the 5-hole across the goal line and into the net, and it should have been stopped by UC Saros. He could see this one, no traffic in front, and he should have stopped this one right here. Nashville leads 2-1 over the Calgary Flames here. We flipped it back to the sheet and continue on with the second period, 16:23 of the second period. It's Sherwood off to the box, 2 minutes for tripping on Coleman. UC Saros comes with a save on Kadri, and another outstanding penalty kill by the Nashville Predators, just getting better and better as this game goes along on the shorthanded side of things. 18:58 of the second period. Saros comes with a save on Backlund. The Flames have Nashville pinned in since the power play expired. They're closing out the second period by, frankly, running the Nashville Predators off of the rink. At the end of the second period, Calgary is out shooting Nashville 27-15. We've got a 1-goal game heading into the third period. At 1:10 of the third period, Tommy Novak hits the post at 1:29 of the third period. UC Saros comes with a save on Backlund at 4:01 of the third. Saros comes with a save on Anderson at 4:30 of the third period. UC Saros comes with a save right here on a partial breakaway, and at 4:44 of the third period, it's Hanifin getting his second goal of the season. It was a wrist shot snipe from the high slot. Just so much pressure by the Calgary Flames. You could just feel this goal coming, and the Calgary Flames tie the game up at 2 apiece. At 6:24, though, it's Coleman, his third goal of the season. He goes short side for the finish on a 2-on-1 after a turnover by the Nashville Predators, and just like that, the Calgary Flames have a 3-2 lead after trailing the entire game up to this point. Now 6:24 into the third period, Calgary moves ahead by 1, 3-2. At 7:26 of the third period, Ruzicki goes off to the box, 2 minutes for tripping on Foodie. Foodie using that speed and separation again to make a play, and this time drawing a penalty, earning a power play for his team. But it was UC Saros coming up with the biggest save of the exchange. It was a shorthanded save on Lindholm's breakaway. At 10:52 of the third period, Forsberg hits the post. Yossi has a great rebound follow-up on the other side of the net. It is blocked by Weegar, probably the most timely shot block of this entire game. 13:23 of the third period, UC Saros comes up with a save on Pospisil at 14:39 of the third period. UC Saros comes up with a save on Backlund at 15:39 of the third period. UC Saros comes up with another save on Pospisil, and at 16:54, Markstrom comes up with a save on Sissons. Only the third shot on goal of the third period for the Nashville Predators. We have a bunch of different empty net scenarios. The Preds trying to get Saros off the ice to get the extra attacker on, but they can't quite get themselves together out there, and they end up pulling Saros and putting him back on the ice multiple times before Kadri puts the puck into the empty net. 18:21. Another Nashville Predators turnover here in the third period. Calgary leads 4-2. The Preds cannot generate any scoring opportunities over the final minute plus with the 6-on-5 attacker. 4-2 is your final. Calgary Flames come back from down 2-0 in the first period to win this game by 2 goals, 4-2. Shots on goal, lopsided. Calgary Flames 39. The Nashville Predators only 20 in this game. So for the Nashville Predators, while the shots on goal were lopsided in the first period, UC Saros was keeping the Nashville Predators in the game, and the Nashville Predators were being opportunistic in their offense, scoring 2 goals on 6 shots. In the second period, the Calgary Flames balanced things out. It was like in the third period, after Tommy Novak hit that post early in the third, the Preds just seemed to deflate. Seemed like all the air came out of their game. They did not have the same energy that they had earlier in the game. Credit to the Calgary Flames. The Flames played hard from start to finish in this game. They earned themselves a 2-goal win on home ice. No, they don't have the most impressive record on the season, but they defeated the Nashville Predators tonight. So for the Preds, they just did not look like the same team over the final 20 minutes of this game, and they lost a lot of battles in the third period, turned over a lot of pucks, and that led to them losing this game. Unfortunately for the Nashville Predators, that's their third loss on this CMA road trip. One more to go before closing it out. That's going to do it for the Rebirth Sports full game recap. You gave us 2 minutes. You gave us 10 minutes. We gave you the entire game. We've got full analysis, box score, and so much more coming up on the Renegades of Puck podcast right after this.
Hello, hello, hello. I'm Tracy, owner-operator of Strong Style Fitness. And that's me and my training assistant, Rizzo. and we are here to bring you fitness that meets you where you are by offering circuit classes, bar-inspired classes, Tabata workouts, boot camps, guided stretching, and more, all taught by a certified personal trainer, me. To learn more, go to our website, strongstylefit.com. Subscribe on YouTube at Strong Style Fitness. Follow on social media at Strong Style Fit. But most importantly, let's get you moving. It doesn't matter if it's your first workout or you've been doing it for years. Strong Style Fitness has the workout that meets you on your journey and helps you along the path to a happier, healthier life. I understand where you've been, what you were going through, and where you were going, and I want to take you there. We'll see you on the mat. Mwah.
Welcome back in Renegades of Puck podcast. Man, sure glad I took a nap after that recap because I looked awful in that segment. Late night CMA road trip, it takes a toll, and it's not always easy. I appreciate everybody who chipped in and threw me a cup of coffee over there on Venmo. Remember, you can just go to Venmo and search Renegades of Puck and send me some more money for coffee because it has been some late nights. Now, let's get into the analysis of this game. That's got you all set up for the Nashville Predators next game. It's got you recapped on the previous game, and now we got to do some breakdown, some analysis, give you the cold hard numbers from the box score, and some other thoughts that I have. UC Saros got the start in this game, 35 out of 38. Now listen, I want to start with what I thought was amazing. The first period, I thought UC Saros was tremendous in the first period, and then in the second period, the 5 saves in 16 seconds sequence, I thought that was also tremendous. But then not sure what happened. He had clear eyes on the goal by Dubé, but it squeaks through. And then suddenly a leaky goal for the first one by Calgary leads to seemingly a leaky everything for the Nashville Predators. Somehow that little leak led to all of the Nashville Predators' energy, enthusiasm, battle level, all of it just leaking right on out of the game. So when UC Saros gave up what I consider to be a little bit of a soft goal right there, the Nashville Predators kind of fell apart, and UC Saros was not the same after that. The Nashville Predators were not the same after that. But if I'm to give you commentary on the first period, exceptional performance by UC Saros, kept the Preds in it. And then the sequence in the second period was without a doubt the best sequence for a Nashville Predators netminder this season. Lankinen had that sequence in just the previous game against the Edmonton Oilers. Now UC Saros one-ups that with 5 saves in 16 seconds. Now, I'm going to talk about some good things, but what's going to be abundantly clear as a trend as I'm talking to you about the good things is the names you're hearing versus the names you're not hearing. Pay attention. I want to start with Michael McCarron. That's right. I want to start with Michael McCarron. Michael McCarron scored a goal in this game. He only had 10:09 in time on ice. He was the most noticeable forward for the Nashville Predators. When it came to the physical element of the game, he was there. When it came to being out there on a brief penalty kill shift, he was there. He was disruptive. He was noticeable. He was working hard in the offensive zone. And I heard the name Michael McCarron in a positive way more times than anybody else in this entire game. That is something that should not ever happen. No disrespect to Michael McCarron, but when your fourth line center gets all of the talk, all of the headlines, and seems to be the only player putting up any positive play out there, well, that's a problem for the rest of the lineup. So Michael McCarron deserves all the credit in the world for coming out there and putting up a good performance. And the question, the notation that I made was, once the Predators looked like they had just gone completely flat, looked like 2, maybe 3 of the 4 tires on the car had gone down to a flat, why was Michael McCarron not out there for more total time on ice? 10:09 in total time on ice. He was the most noticeable forward on the rink for the team, and he skated the least amount. That is something that should have been adjusted in game. Sherwood scores a goal in this game, has 3 shots on goal, also delivers 3 hits, 13:34 in total time on ice. Sherwood, highly noticeable, playing very physical, scoring an important goal in this game, looking great on the rush. But again, 13:34 in total time on ice. He was, again, another player amongst the least amount of time skated amongst the forwards, yet he was actually being effective with his time out there on the ice. Only 17 shifts in this game when other players are getting 23, 24, 27 shifts and not performing at the same level. So again, the same question that I asked about Michael McCarron. Why was Sherwood not given more time on ice in the third period when it was obvious that the Nashville Predators had run out of steam, run out of energy, were no longer competing, and were failing to generate shots on goal? 2 shots on goal for almost the entire third period? Unacceptable. unacceptable. That was a tied hockey game at one point in the third period. Del Gaizo, next thing that is good. I'm saying good things, but I'm saying it in a very, very not good tone. Del Gaizo picks up an assist in this game. His second game for the Nashville Predators, second game in the NHL. Now 2 assists. He's on a point streak, and he was the only defenseman. I know plus minus is not something we go to. It's not something we rely on a lot on this show because it's a superficial metric, but he was the only defenseman that was even in plus minus. Everyone else on the defense core was minus -2, -3, all over the board, but then you see Del Gaizo, and he was not. So for the Nashville Predators, 1 block shot, 1 hit for Del Gaizo, and picked up an assist, looking highly effective out there in his second game. Now, this is where I start to flip it over to the bad, and I'm getting worked up because this game had me worked up the way I hadn't been in the previous 11 games this season. I understand what I'm watching. I understand that this is a rebuild in progress with a new coach and a new group of players, new leadership grouping, not totally. Roman Josi is still the captain. Philip Forsberg is still here. Colton Sissons is still here. So not totally a new leadership group, but certainly bringing O'Reilly in and adding him to part of that. So I just qualified all of that to say that after 11 games, I had been fairly subdued and understanding in what the point of everything that's going on out there is. And this was the first night that I lost the plot. Where was the effort after being down 2-0? It's one thing to be outshot dramatically on the road in Calgary. The Flames have been piling up shots on goal as of late, but where was the compete level? Where was the battle? Where was the effort? The Nashville Predators had a 2-goal lead after the first period, gave it back slowly on a leaky goal, and then the entire performance became leaky. No longer were the Predators contesting 50-50 pucks. The Predators were turning over pucks with regularity throughout the third period, including when they had the 6-on-5 attacker. Where was the effort? I can fully understand and accept a team that's in a rebuild mode losing, especially when they're going with a lot of youth, especially when they are implementing brand new systems, brand new styles that some of these players and this particular franchise has never been exposed to before. What I cannot accept at the end of a game is the fact that a team did not put in a full effort. The coach called them out. I'll talk about that before we wrap up this episode, but I'm calling them out right now. After they got a 2-0 lead, foot off the gas, looked like flat tires by the middle of the third period, and the Calgary Flames just had their way with them. And the Calgary Flames are not a good enough team for the Nashville Predators to go out there and just get beaten the way they did. Up 2-0, lost 4-2 the entire game. Not only did it get leaky, that damn ship sunk. And now they got to regain that attitude, that edge, that momentum, that effort, all of it going into Winnipeg. I hope we will see a dramatically different team coming out on the ice in Winnipeg, because what I saw at the end of the Calgary game, I don't want to cover, I don't want to watch, I don't want to break down, and I don't want to see, because all it's going to be is this over and over and over again. So 12 games in, and it's the first time I've really sat up and gotten frustrated with what I was watching. Again, 2 shots on goal for the majority of the third period, unable to do anything with the 6-on-5. So we'll move on to the next point, which is also not great. Parson, Tomasino, Foudy, Fujimo, it's time. It's time to start making some decisions. There are things that I can say good about each and every one of these players. I like the way Foudy reads, reacts, and I like the speed that he has, and he has certainly made a couple of plays. The same can be said for Fujimo. He has made some plays, but he's not getting regular ice time, and when he was getting ice time most recently, it wasn't with top players. Parsonen is getting ice time, and he is not putting up any type of returns. As a matter of fact, it has been declining returns for Juuso Parsonen since the first day of the season. I like him as a player a lot, but he is not ready for the big show at this moment in time. And Philip Tomasino, it's time. The Nashville Predators have to come to a conclusion with Philip Tomasino. I have thought for the last 3 years that he was going to break through this lineup and he was going to be a huge part of this Nashville Predators team moving forward. Now I don't necessarily see him as a part of this Nashville Predators franchise in the future, or perhaps even past the 20th game of the season. Typically, when it was David Poile's franchise, and that is Barry Trotz's mentor as a GM and who he's still consulting with, Barry Trotz may be looking to make that first move of the season. Yes, waiver claims are moves, but I'm talking about that next big move for this team. It may be time for Barry Trotz to follow what David Poile used to do, and right around game 15, between game 15 and 20, make that first adjustment to the squad. Now, I think it's going to be Philip Tomasino finding himself without a place to play here in Nashville. Parsonen is a wonderful prospect, but he is looking right now like a deer in the headlights, and although he was putting up a little bit of better effort and better shifts, he's just non-existent. Yakov Trenton's a veteran player, but not a single point on the season and barely performing to the level that we've seen in the past. So I don't know what Yakov Trenton's future is here with the team, but it might be just about time for Barry Trotz to start thinking about making that first adjustment, because there are too many bubble players and the Preds have to make a decision on that. I'm going to take a deep breath while you guys take a break and listen to Stripe Digital Solutions. They're truly the greatest. They maintain our website, they help with our social media plan, and so much more. We'll be back on the Renegades of Puck podcast right after this from Stripe Digital Solutions. The digital environment can be quite intimidating, time-consuming, and cumbersome, especially with all those other areas that need attention at your business, and that's why Stripe Digital Solutions is here to help. I know, because that's exactly what Stripe Digital Solutions did for me and the Renegades of Puck. From designing my home website and helping me create my merchandise to special event posters, brand building, and social media management. But it's not just that, it's so much more. Stripe Digital Solutions has helped me every step of the way. From startup to full-time operation, Stripe Digital Solutions has been there to assist and advise every single step of the journey. In today's fast-paced world, the path to success is having a strong digital partner, and nobody is better in the trenches than Brandy and Stripe Digital Solutions. Get the solution before it's even a problem with Stripe Digital Solutions. Welcome back in, Renegades of Puck podcast, the cold hard numbers. I'll try not to get too worked up about this because I'm going to get worked up in the close again. I know that for sure. This will be nice and quick and to the point, nice and clinical. McCarron scored a goal for the Nashville Predators. Sherwood also scored a goal. That's it for your goal scores for the Nashville Predators. On the assist side of things, Luke Evangelista, Liam Foudy, Tommy Novak, all with assists. On the defensive side of things, Del Gaizo picked up an assist. There's your 4 assists for your 2 goals in this game. When it comes to shots on goal, the captain, Roman Josi, had 4 shots on goal. Sherwood had 3 shots on goal. That's your leader among the defensemen and leader amongst the forwards. No one else with more than 2. In the block shots category, it was Captain Roman Josi with 4 in this game, but also Jeremy Lauzon with 4. Lauzon continues putting up good numbers out there when it comes to the penalty kill, when it comes to blocking shots, when it comes to the physical play. He was noticeable last night. Did take a penalty in this game, but it was the type of penalty that it was right there on the border. It was a good physical play, and typically, I don't mind those particular penalties. Playing on the edge just a little bit is part of Lauzon's game. Being physical is part of his game. He just got caught this time just a half stride late in this one. But Lauzon with 4 block shots. When it comes to the hits category, Cole Smith had 4. Thought he was noticeable. Thought he looked good out there. Sissons had 3. Sherwood also had 3. Yakov Trenton, again, only 1 down there at the part of the lineup where he used to bring real big physical element to the game, and he's simply not doing that. It's just it's such a shame to see what was the herd line now just not delivering in any physical, measurable way out there on the rink. When it comes to time on ice, frankly, I'm fairly disappointed to see the time on ice distribution. Ryan O'Reilly, 20 minutes and 2 seconds in total time on ice, the only forward to go over 20 minutes. Why I am disappointed is to see McCarron only at 10:09 and Sherwood only at 13:34, even though they played very, very good, strong hockey games and were 2 of the most noticeable forwards out there on the rink. Del Gaizo only skated 15:37, was a good noticeable defenseman out there, the only one without a minus on the board. 26:34 is your total time on ice for the captain. Roman Josi, of course, he led the Nashville Predators in total time on ice. When it comes to special teams, Roman Josi had 3:15 on the power play. Barry had 2:31 on the power play out of the forwards, 2:12 for O'Reilly and 2:14 for Philip Forsberg. Shorthanded, Yakov Trenton 3:28 of total time on ice. Shorthanded, 2:32 for Cole Smith, 2:03 for Sissons, 4:16 for Alex Carrier, and he looked really good out there on the rink. Again, getting the job done. Alex Carrier is a very positive spot over the first 12 games of this season. UC Saros looked tremendous until he didn't. 35 out of 38, 3 goals against 33 even strength saves, 2 power play saves, and that leaky goal that got through the 5-hole and got over the blue line, over the goal line, it just ended up being the beginning of the doom for the Nashville Preds, who fall 4-2 in this game by the end. The empty netter, of course, not charged to UC Saros. And let's go ahead and just no more breaks. Let's just flip it over to the close right here. Let's just go with the flow that we got right here. The captain. Wow. So I've been covering some of these players so long that they've gone from being players with letters to head coaches and such. Andrew Burnett being one of those here in Nashville. And Andrew Burnett, the new head coach of the Nashville Predators, his first job officially as a head coach. And so far, I feel that he's been effective. He has not peeled the paint yet, as far as we know. But after last night's game, he dropped the D word. He dropped the disappointment, the disappointed word. And that's, as we all know, that's the last warning before some paint gets peeled in the locker room. And I'm with him on this. He said the same exact thing that I've been kind of trending on throughout this entire episode, which was for the first 11 games of the season, Nashville Predators competed hard each and every night, each and every shift. Even when they lost games, they competed. The only game that they were frankly out of and that they just didn't look good in was the game against the Edmonton Oilers at home, but they were still out there in the third period trying, competing, bringing a physical element, putting shots on net. This game in Calgary was something else, and I understand there are going to be moments in the season where the worst of possible trends in a game can rear their ugly heads, but the Nashville Predators, frankly, went into a shell after that leaky goal, and they did not find their way out of it, and they ended up falling 4-2, and I, with the coach, agree, disappointed. It's the first time I have felt that way all season, the first time I've gotten really frustrated and riled up and not been able to sit here and say, well, that's part of the growing process, part of the learning curve, and it is something that is going to happen from time to time. Not competing for almost half of a game and giving up 4 unanswered goals against and not even being there in the third period, seeming like mentally, physically, or spiritually. That's something that cannot happen. A lesson can be learned from this. The head coach, the players, all of them are new to the relationship together. So we'll see how they handle this moving forward. But Andrew Burnett certainly publicly talking about being disappointed in the team and their overall effort when it came to the later second period and the entirety of the third period. That's why the Preds fell 4-2 last night in Calgary. They had a chance to seize the momentum after the Edmonton game and win 2 games in a row on this road trip and then go to Winnipeg with a chance to break even or better on this 5-game road trip. Instead, now falling to 1-3 on the road trip and a very tough game coming up against third place Winnipeg on Thursday. So that's going to do it for this show. A little bit more frustration than you've heard in a while coming from the bunker, but absolutely necessary. Through 2 periods last night, things were looking okay when the Preds were up 2-0, competing. UC Saros playing hard, and then the Nashville Predators just stopped doing all of the things that have made them interesting and fun and even exciting at times to watch. A 5-7 record after 12 games is okay. 10 points is okay. Being only 6 points out of first place, it's not so bad. Being only 4 points out of a guaranteed playoff spot 12 games into the season is something we shouldn't even be talking about, but it's just for a frame of reference and a reference point. The Preds are doing okay, but they have to learn how to compete for a full 60, and they have to compete for that full 60 each and every night. They can't have 1 out of every 12 games where they just completely take a game off and don't show up for it. So you'll probably hear a lot of that from a lot of your favorite people around this particular part of the hockey community right now. A lot of people pretty upset with that overall performance, overall, just in general. That's going to do it for Operation Number 817. Not much else I can say. I've been very animated, rather frustrated, and I think it's time to get this show posted, get it out there, get it cleared, and get on to the Winnipeg game. We'll, of course, be back in the bunker late on Thursday night, going into Friday morning. Nashville Predators' last game of the CM8 road trip. I'm looking forward to seeing everybody at Bridgestone Arena Saturday. Looking forward to seeing some practices back in the area. Looking forward to the hockey community finally being back in Nashville. The CMA road trip is always very, very difficult. It comes around every year, and of course that award show is going to happen tonight over there at the arena. I look forward to it coming, being successful, wrapping up, ending, and them getting the hell out of the rink and putting the ice back down so that we can get back to covering hockey. That is, after all, what I do. It's what I like to do. It's my passion, and it is what the Renegades of Puck absolutely love. So I'm your host and Captain Crazy Charlie Saunier. Operation Number 817's in the books. Stick taps, love, and respect.